So today we are venturing into chapter by chapter analysis of the book of Amos. Chapter by chapter analysis of the book of Amos. We want to analyze the book of Amos. After that, our next lesson will conduct about giving major themes in the book of Amos. So I do this in order for you to understand better these books. For example, we want to analyze Amos chapter 3. Read Amos chapter 3.
God and Israel.
Yes.
Hear this word that the Lord had spoken against you, all people of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up out of the land of Egypt.
Yes. Let us go.
You only have I known of the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Yes.
Do two walk together unless they have an appointment? Does a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Does young lion cry out from his den if he has taken nothing? Does a bird fall in the snare on the earth when there is no trap for it? Does a snare spring up from the ground when it has taken nothing? Is a trumpet blow in a city and the people are not afraid?
Yes, wait. So, taking consideration of Amos chapter 3, according to Amos chapter 3 from verse 1 up to verse 11, Amos chapter 3 to verse 11, I have got three major topics in which we can raise pertaining that chapter. For example, Amos chapter 3 verse 2 up to maybe to 5, we can explain about what we call the idea of election. So what about this idea of election? Amos reverses the popular idea. He reverses the popular idea of the consequences of Israel being the chosen people. In Amos chapter 3 verse 2, read Amos chapter 3 verse 3 verse 2.
You only have I known of all families.
You only have I known. Yes, read. It is saying, you only have I known of all families of earth, therefore I will punish you for iniquities. So what is this chapter telling us about Israel? Israel was a chosen people, nation, or a chosen nation. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Israel had been given a special responsibility to illustrate godliness to other nations. But what are they doing to that godliness ideology they were being provided by Yahweh? They are restricting to the godliness nature. They are now falling into the worship of idolatry and whatsoever, what we call religious apostates. So according to Amos, the idea of divine election is being rubbed off upon Israel. Why? Because they are being astray. Are we together? They are not maintaining the Yahweh's Mosaic covenant. So God is going to reverse all his blessing upon Israel and bring a curse upon them because they are not following all Yahweh's demands because of what we call religious apostasy. Religious apostasy, it is an event whereby you know that we must maintain monotheism, but at the same time we are maintaining religious syncretism, that is worshipping idols at the same time worshipping God. Are we together? So this is what Amos chapter 3 is saying. Then after that, we have what we call prophets, the prophet's authority as another topic on Amos chapter. The prophet's authority to speak. Where do we find this? On Amos chapter 3 verse 8. 3 verse 8. Amos chapter 3 verse 8. Let us hear what it's saying. It is saying that the lion has roared, who will not fear? The Lord has spoken, who can but prophesy? Are we together? When God speaks, it is only a prophet who can hear. Is the only prophet who can incline the ear to the words of Yahweh. Are we together? So, are we saying the section is made talk of rhetorical questions. Altogether, rhetorical question in Shona, that's what we call mubvunzo nando. Altogether, with a cause and effective relationship. If the climax is at verse 5, then conclusion, that is Yahweh who brings the misfortune of a city. If the climax is verse 8, the prophet speaks because God has given him a message. Are we together?
Yes.
This verse, Amos chapter 3 verse 8, it is saying that it is the prophet who has got authority to speak upon Israel, because he's the only one who hears what God has revealed upon the Israelites. But if we can take note of chapter 5, does a bird fall in a snare on earth when there's no trap for it? Altogether. So verse 5 is being said that the conclusion is that Yahweh brings misfortunes to Israel because of all its iniquities. Altogether.
Yes.
Then after that, we have some critics say that Amos was a shepherd. Lions were a common sight. This now shows that he's now using his profession to depict his message to the Israelites as a lion, which is now rolling upon the shepherd, the sheep. Are we together? That's how the Israelites were going to suffer because of Yahweh's anger upon them. Are we together? Then after that, Amos chapter 3 verse 9 to 11, it speaks of the fall of Samaria. Are we together? Let us hear. Proclaim to the strongholds in Assyria and to the strongholds in the land of Egypt, and say, assemble yourself upon the mountains of Samaria, and see the great tumults within her, and the oppressions in her midst. They do not know how to do right, says the Lord. Those who store up violence and robbery in their strongholds. Therefore, thus says the Lord God, an adversary shall surround the land, and bring down your defenses from you, and your strongholds shall be plundered. Are we together? Listen to this now. The prophets writes the nation of Assyria and Egypt to come and witness the wickedness in the city, which would resist in severe destruction. Are we together? It looks like warfare would destroy Samaria, but the prophet is not clear as to which country to destroy Samaria, but probably points to Assyria. Are we together? So according to Amos chapter 3, Yahweh was going to destroy Israel for its iniquities. Yahweh was going to destroy Israel for its apostates. But he was going to use foreign nations to attack those nations. Are we together? This is how Amos was revealing his message to the Israelites. So this was just a summary of Amos chapter 3. We are giving an analysis of the message of Amos according to Amos chapter 3. So for those who want to join the intellect, you can contact the number on the screen.